everybody and welcome to Cooking at Home with Fiona here at Cloughan Farm and Cookery School. Today we're going to do a classic. It's a lemon meringue pie, and we have three elements to a lemon meringue pie. We have the pastry base, we have the filling, and we have the meringue. So we're going to get started on our pastry base first. So on the recipe, just underneath the video, you'll have the recipe attached to it so you can follow along. So here I have lined an 8-inch loose base, you can see there underneath, loose base tin. So there's two ways you can trim the edges. You can either roll the rolling pin along on top and that'll just sear it off, or the other way that I like to do it is I just get a scissors, and the reason I'm just cutting there, so you can see I just cut that much and I leave an overhang like that. So, and the reason that I leave that overhang sometimes is that when our filling goes in and our meringue goes in on top, you'll see this process as we go along. When our meringue goes in on top and we want to get the meringue right down to the edge to seal the edge, it doesn't stick to the tin and therefore it'll even harder to get out. It'll stick to the pastry and it'll come out as one unit. But that's just a little tip. I have trimmed off the excess pastry, but don't discard that. We'll hold on to that just in case we need to patch. Here I have a sheet of parchment paper. We're going to bake our pastry blind. So I just easily start cutting that in there. So I have here, as you can see, filled or lined it with parchment paper. So I got into the edges. And the reason that we line this with, we bake it blind is because our filling was going to be already cooked. Our meringue is going to be basically just in there for about 10 or 15 minutes. And at that stage, it's not really going to cook the pastry. It's only really warm it up. So this is the way to ensure that the pastry is cooked, that you're not eating a ball of dough in your mouth. And if we didn't bake it blind, and if we want to fill it here with rice, you could use ceramic beans. I use rice. So we're going to fill it with rice, and if we didn't put in a weight, like rice or ceramic beans, the pastry would rise up, but also the sides of the pastry wall would fall in. So we need to keep the surface and the base where it is and the side walls. So that'll go into the oven at 180 degrees for about 20 minutes. So we have removed our pastry base from the oven. We have removed the rice. And we have, removed the rice and we removed the parchment paper. So remember what I was saying earlier about keeping your little bit of pastry in case you had a crack. So we'll check around. We don't have very many cracks there. But if we did, say for example there, that wouldn't really be that necessary. But I'm just to show you, if we did have a little bit of pastry, we need to fill. We just put a little bit of egg wash on that little bit of pastry and we just patch along like that. And because it's only a little thin bit of pastry, it'll cook nearly in the 10 minutes while it's in with the egg wash. Okay, so that's if you had a patch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of egg, lightly whipped, and we're going to start painting the walls like that, and that'll seal it and it won't allow any moisture to go down into your pastry from the lemon curd filling. So just paint the walls and the sides of it like that. So I have our pastry now all brushed. Back into the oven about 10 minutes. Seal it, 10 minutes out of the oven and allow it to cool. So for our filling next, we're going to add in our caster sugar. Our corn flour is our thickener. And remember, you can flavour with whatever you like. You could use lime and coconut, just replace the water with coconut and the lemon with lime, and then we're going to add in water. So we'll bring that over, just give it a little stir, bring it over to a heat, and we'll just stand here and we'll stir continuously until it thickens up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to zest our lemon. On the smaller little grater, the finer grater, that's the larger one, that's the finer one, lemon. Okay, and just gently, and that's important. You don't go very hard when you're zesting your lemon, because if you go down into the white part, it's bitter. It's not a nice experience. So that'll be just zest along like that. Your 2 lemons. Okay, our lemons are zested. So always make sure you put your hand up in there and allow any zest. And that lovely flavour from the zest. Absolutely gorgeous. All that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to extract the juice from our lemon. So what you do is just hold the sieve put your sieve into your bowl, and then we catch all our pips and anything we don't want in there. So we'll just give that like that. Any lemon that then the little pips, just push it through with a spoon like that, so we remove all the remaining juice and just run your little, and that's it.
Okay.
Our filling, our corn flour filling has thickened up lovely. See the way it's nice and thick. So I just turn off the heat there now. I have it cooked fully, and into that I'm going to add some butter. And that just kind of gives it a kind of a silky, emulsifies the filling. And we just beat that in. Our eggs are separated. We have 4 egg whites and we have 4 egg yolks. Now we're going to add the egg yolk into the corn flour mixture. So before we add it in, I'm just going to give it a little whisk like so, just to break it up. And then I'm going to temper the egg. So what I'm going to do with tempering the egg is, sorry, I thought I had the heat off there. So what we're going to do to temper the egg is, we're just going to take a little spoonful of it, tablespoon out like that, just to one side, and then we'll very quickly mix that into our egg. And the reason we do that is because if I added that egg yolk directly into the corn flour mixture, and particularly when it's hot, it would all scramble on me. So I have tempered that down. So I've basically brought up the temperature of the egg yolk, and I've brought down the temperature of the corn flour mixture. So that should be sufficient enough there now. Just make sure it's well bound. And we'll add this into our mixture, corn flour mixture now.
One.
So whisk in our egg, just gently, into our mixture. Let's keep it all in. Just like so. And the egg yolk is, that's the glory, the lovely richness. So that's it there now. So we have our egg whisked in there. So into that now we're going to add in our lemon zest and our lemon juice. Just gradually whisking it in, and that will loosen it up a good bit. You might think there before that now the mixture was very thick, and that's what you don't want with a lemon meringue. You don't want it too runny, but you don't want it really dense and thick and heavy. You want that lightness, and this is a lovely recipe. I think it's not too heavy and not too runny. So,
and
we have removed our pastry base here from the oven. See, it's well sealed there on the base of it and the sides of it. You can see the glossy finish. Into that now we're going to add in our lemon curd mixture. Just leave that there to one side. Spatula, a very important piece of equipment in your kitchen. So just add it all in. So that's it all there now, and we just remove the excess from our spatula, and then just flatten out your curd just like that on top. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to allow that to cool, fully cool now. We wouldn't put the egg white in there, so allow that to fully cool.
In here now we have our egg whites whipping up. So if you want to come over here for a second, Michael, and we have our egg white, we have a soft whip or a soft piece. So that's what we're looking for. Now we're going to add in our caster sugar. So add in about a tablespoon and a little bit along with it. And allow a minute there now before you add in the next one. And you keep doing that until you come to the end. We have all our sugar added in. We've allowed a minute or roughly so between every addition. And what we're trying to achieve is a silk, glossy mixture with a bit of stiffness in it. So if you want to come in here, Michael, So you see the way it's nice and thick there, and it's more or less banging off the side of the bowl now. So you can hear it. You can hear it there banging off the side of the bowl. So that's it. Our meringue is sufficiently whipped.
So we just want to remove any excess meringue from our beater. And the next thing is, and we need to move very quickly here because we don't want to dilly-dally around with the meringue. So what we're going to do is, we're going to add, and that's a nice thick meringue, just like that. Do you see that? So if you're not prepared to hold it up like that, you're not ready to put it onto your filling. So we just add blobs because it's a bit stiff. You just have to be careful putting it on. So just blobs on like that. Now we just, this is what I was saying earlier on, we have a little bit of an overrun here with the pastry. So I think I like that because then my meringue doesn't touch the tin. So when it's baked in the oven, if the meringue sticks to the tin, it can just leave it a little bit harder to remove the meringue, lemon meringue from the tin without doing any damage. Because remember, it's quite a delicate pastry, it's quite a rich pastry. So we don't want to do any harm. So we'll just get it down to, we're nearly there now. So nicely sealed, and then just run your palette over the top of it. It's very important to have your eggs at room temperature. So you see the sweet, I'm swirling around just like that, a few little swirls. That's sufficient. And remove any of the excess again. And then the next thing, now you could put a little, traditionally they might use cherries. I'm going to use some flaked almonds. You could use nibbed almonds. You could just leave it off. Pistachios as well is another lovely one. I think pistachios is lovely if you're doing a coconut and lime meringue. And as I said, just replace the coconut or the water with the coconut and the lemons, the lemons with the limes, and maybe an extra lime in there. So that's it, ready to go into the oven. And we'll bake that off at 180 degrees for about 10-15 minutes. So it's lightly golden on top. So here's our lemon meringue out of the oven, and I've already dusted a little bit of icing, but just to show you, just a little bit of icing along the top of it like so. It's optional. So it just gives it a nice little finish. And that's it. So it's ready to serve with a nice spoon of, a nice dollop of fresh cream. And a lemon meringue, as I said at the beginning of the tutorial, it's an old classic, and the reason a lot of these things are classics because they never date and they really are delicious. So if rather than waiting for an occasion, make a lemon meringue pie or make some kind of a dessert at the weekend and celebrate your desserts and your home baking. And but for now, thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you soon again, and take care everybody. Bye.